Hello, this is my third VOD review here. Today we're reviewing some gameplay for Blockhead. Blockhead is in Plat. He is on console, or I think he was in Plat. I think he's actually made it up to Diamonds since then. He is on console. Now, I know everyone is immediately thinking like, oh, console, it's not applicable to me at all. There's some really good stuff in this VOD for teachable moments, okay? So I definitely recommend checking it out. I think there's one particular moment about halfway through. I'll probably timestamp it where we go over a very teachable moment for beat dropping. So definitely worth the watch even if you're on PC. Alright, so let's jump in. The VOD starts out a little bit late, so we kind of don't get to see the first fight here. Looks like our Lucio was kind of trying to speed people through choke, and you know, shit happened. Everybody died. I think they're running a triple tank comp, or they were, or something like that. We'll see what's going on. So right now, I definitely want to be back, sort of like you're kind of okay where you're at right now, but it's kind of unfortunate that D.Va's out there. It seems like you might not be in voice Blockhead. Definitely, I would recommend being in voice just so you can communicate with your team. All right, and you're kind of, you could have saved that Zarya there, right? Just by booping earlier. So I think speeding back is an admirable idea, but as long as that D.Va's in there, no matter how much you speed people back, it really doesn't matter, right? She's going to die eventually and get staggered. So your goal should just be trying to minimize the stagger happening. So I would have probably been trying to peel for the Zarya instead of speeding back to Zen, but like, this is kind of not a great situation. What you really need to do to fix what's happening right now is get into voice and say, hey, let's group up. But I think your team does eventually start to get it together a bit here. Not before you go in by yourself. Definitely would not recommend pushing this right now. So your D.Va's out of mech and your Zarya just died. There's basically no value in you being here right now. We'll see. So this whole time, just imagine me telling you, get out. You don't want to be here. But let's see if there's anything else we pick up while we're in. Flanking in general is not a terrible thing to do as Lucio every once in a while, especially on maps like this. It can be, a lot of times on first point, I like to hop through the window, which is basically directly that way, right? The window on the top left of the choke as you're pushing from attack. And then I flank through the health pack room over on your bottom right side here. And then I come in here. But you want to do it when your team is pushing. There's no real value in doing this by yourself, though you might be able to heal the Pharah at some point. There's still a stagger. You know, you don't really want to be in right now. But when you are in, flanking is not the worst thing ever. It's not necessarily the best either, but against certain comps, like if they had an Ana here, flanking in with a Genji, just so that way he can easily finish that kill, it's pretty nice. It works well for me. So you do actually get to heal up the Pharah. That's some value in that. Nice. So now I just dip out though. So one thing that people miss a lot is they think, oh, we got to pick, we should go in. But you're still 2v what? 1, 2. 2v1, 2. I think there's a third one over here. This isn't like a winnable fight right now. You actually got that nice little pick there, but what I would have done in that situation, your Pharah is not with you. You're not brawling right now. It's just you versus these guys. So I would have just dipped right back out where you came from, right? And just chill there until your team is ready to push. So just like, you know, everyone's immediate response when they get a pick is, oh, let's go in, let's go in, let's go in. But their spawn time is really long right now. They have to go a long distance to get back. So you got that Symmetra kill, which is huge. Getting a Symmetra before she can put down a teleporter. Really a ton of value in that play. Though I think you should have not been here in the first place, just as I discussed before. But you're in. You made that decision, and you did get the Symmetra, which is nice. But now you want to get out and get your team back in. You need to get these other heroes in, so that way it's not a 2v4 or whatever it is. And they res the sim anyway. So you dip out, which is good. You're still kind of, I don't know where your Pharah's at. Like, you're not really, there's just no value in this, right? Time is just ticking away without a viable fight here. You're going for the Symmetra 1v1. I think your Pharah should still be around. She's booping people. But, like, again, like, you guys can't take action based off these picks, and you end up dying there. I think, so, let's go back maybe 10 seconds, 20, I guess. That's a bit far. So, a Symmetra 1v1 is not a 1v1 you can really win as Lucio. the best thing you can do is create distance. So you did get that nice boop there, which kind of CC'd, crowd controlled for you, right? So you are safe right now. You're full health. So what I would do, see a critical right there. You know the Pharah is just going to sit there and do what they're going to do. So I would just boop, right out. Gone. Why take the fight against the Symmetra? It's hard to win that without help. It really is. So I would be dipping. And I think you get another opportunity to CC. So you CC again, and now you're thinking like, oh, I chipped her. But you didn't do it. Well, that's not very visible. You didn't do a ton of damage here. You did like 1 bar. It's just not worth. Not worth. And you're not getting her off the map anyway. So now it's just no value. Just gone. Because if you can't get it after the first 2, there's no value. Alright. So your Pharah has continued to get picks in their backline somehow. But let's you got a nice tab there. Let's take a look at what's going on here. I guess for you it is select. So we have our nice supports here, and we have the Hanzo for picks, and the Pharah is actually doing work right now, and you got these 2 tanks. So I mean, if we want to talk about team comp, I think this isn't super ideal. It'd be nice to have a monkey instead of, I guess now this is the D.Va, right? Because D.Va's kind of in a weird place right now. And that's just as of today, they made those changes. And it would be nice to have more consistent DPS. So when you have a pick comp, right? This and this is your only DPS, you're going to have a lot of trouble actually like finishing kills. Pharah's going to say, oh, I got their Mercy 1 shot, right? But the Hanzo it's hard to hit a headshot as Hanzo or even hit a shot, period. You know, it's not like, oh, I'll just, like, whereas Soldier is just like, oh, I'll hit them 1 time and they're dead. Whereas Hanzo, it's a lot harder to hit that 1 shot because you get 1 every 3 seconds instead of Soldier's 20 every 1 second or whatever. So not the greatest comp for actually, like, getting momentum and keeping momentum once you get crazy burst damage with the Pharah. But moving on. Against this comp, it's not too bad. You have a good comp for their Reaper, and you have a Pharah for the Sim, which is good too. So that's kind of half that team counter. The Mei is kind of pretty good against this comp that you have, though. It's not too bad. And then the rest of it's kind of meh. All right, so it's not the worst thing ever by any means. Farrah's still in there. She's gotten like several picks and somehow managed to not die with no healing. So good on her. But again, it would be so much better to have a 6-man group up. Call out that you're diving the Mercy. You want support when you do that, and you may not want to be doing this at all. You should have helped the team through. You didn't really get any value out of that, and they could have used your heals there. Definitely want to play with the team. That's how you get the most possible value out of Lucio. So we're gonna get to the teachable moment on point 2, the really solid one for guys. So I think there's some value in all this stuff that I'm talking about today, but that moment is coming up in a bit now. It's on the second point. You guys did get some nice picks. You are still down 1. I think it was a good call to move to point though once you were at that point where you guys had an advantage to try and get some time, some damage done on this point. I think maybe you should have communicated with your Zarya, had her come with you, say, hey, Zarya, let's go to point, speed boost yourself over there, and then chill. Maybe you'll go back and protect her though. We'll see what happens. They'll come to you, it seems. So now is the situation where I'd want to be looking for the Mercy and the TP. Which Mercy's right there. You're kind of shooting for the D.Va, which is not the best target priority when you could go for the Mercy. Though Mercy's dead now. You made the right choice there. Nice barrage. Your Pharah doing work. You guys lost your Mercy. I mean, I think the Mei just got a lucky shot on the Mercy, but a beat drop when it's a 6v6 to cap a point is not a bad play, right? It's better to use too many ults and get 4 minutes than use not enough on attack on 2 CP. But defense is a little bit more dicey on that front. You want to definitely conserve your ults when you can, but on attack it's kind of just like if you have all your ults and you need them all to get the point, that's fine. You know, you have more ults coming in the future. Whereas if you don't use it and you lose, you're kind of in deep shit. So I think maybe it would have made sense to ult earlier, but it's okay. Definitely Symmetra's a good target now that the Mercy's dead. Especially, and then Mei when she's out of cooldowns. There you go. Nice job. So right now it's kind of gone. I would go ferry them like right now. I'd just dip out. You know, they don't need you here. They're 4 on point anyway. This Reaper, great boop opportunity. You should have definitely booped there. The range on that would have been more than enough for you to. So let's see. All right, let me see if I can catch the moment. Right here. So look at the direction he's moving. He's been moving this way this whole time, which means when you boop him, he is gone. He's gonna like hit the backboard over there and just sink. It's gonna be sparkles everywhere as he dies, and your team can push. That's how you carry as Lucio. You dunk him in the basketball. There you go. Terrible basketball hoop. That is that perfect moment. Boops are less about positioning. You're like pretty far away, but you'd make this. This is hittable, right? It's less about the positioning of like, oh, you don't need to get right up on him to kill him. It's more about the timing. If you catch him when his momentum is taking him this way, he's gonna go far. He's just gonna fly right off the map. But that's a mischance. Stuff happens, you know. We live and we learn. Guys can still stagger him probably. There you go. Now I'd go help the Pharah out while she pushes. So right now is a kind of a moment where I would be talking to my team about ults. I like right before you push the next point, especially when you have the momentum. I would have just tabbed like real quick there and just said like, okay, we have beat drop. You know you have beat drop, but if you have Pharah ult, you can say, oh, we can combo the beat drop with the Pharah ult, and that might be like huge. I think they Pharah ulted recently though, so I'm gonna assume you have Res and Graviton. I don't think you grabbed last fight, so still definitely want to be thinking about beat drop. Here's the moment right here. This is it, guys. So that was actually the worst possible beat drop you could do right there. If I don't know if you noticed, but your diva doesn't get it. So we'll take a look here, and we'll try and can I slow mo? I don't think I can slow mo. So I'm just gonna have to pause play. So there's an Orisa berry here. Your team is mostly over here. You have the Pharah behind you. So the whole key to getting this beat drop right here, the whole key to nailing this is you need to think about this as your obstacle, right? And you need to think about you're basically trying to create a bunch of lines between you and your team, where you got your diva, you got your Zarya, basically everybody's over here, and then you got your Pharah. So you want to create a line between all of those heroes. You don't even know if your Pharah is coming with you because you didn't look back. But you want to create those lines. This shield blocks those lines. If you do not have line of sight, if you beat drop right here and every single person on your team is standing right here, you beat drop nobody. And the same is true with Winston Bubble and Rhine Shield. You need to basically assume these are a new obstacle on the map. Think of it like a Mei wall, right? You wouldn't beat drop behind a Mei wall. It's gonna not hit your team. You need that line of sight. So we can see it happen here, where you beat drop. So right here, the idea to beat drop is not a terrible one to help your team initiate. You don't really need it yet, though. I think it's not the best play regardless of what you wanted to do. But assuming we have to beat drop here, which I don't think is true, but assuming we have to beat drop here, the key would be getting in front of the Orisa shield, because there's no value in doing it here. There's nothing to be gained. You can still get that far line of sight from there, assuming the Pharah is behind you, which I think she actually isn't. That's the Hanzo, that little pixel there. So you just want to get line of sight on all this to beat drop. I think ideally where I would want to be right now, instead of on this left side, which I think it made sense to come over here because the Pharah was low, but I think as soon as she healed herself, I would have just gone up here and just hang out up here until your team is in, or as they go in, right? And then you beat drop from the high ground, because then you can see everyone as they walk into point. You get the Hanzo up here too, and the Pharah is maybe over here, or maybe she comes into point over here. That's a lot of squiggles, but you get where I'm coming from, right? Where you want to be creating lines of sight. You don't want to beat drop in, like especially if their team was focusing you here, which they're not. But if these guys were all looking at you, if they'd seen you, you could have tried to beat drop in and you got Widow headshotted, right? Or Reaper just insta kills you, like 2 shots, right, before you can even hit the ground. So you don't want to beat drop into a situation where you're probably going to die, which this isn't necessarily one of those, but you should try and be safer when you beat drop, and you also need to be trying to generate line of sight. So let's continue. And you see, these guys didn't get this. I don't know if the D.Va did. It looks like she did. D.Va did get the beat drop, but one person for a beat drop is not too great. So actually, let's talk about this a little bit more. So there is a way that you could have nailed these guys even after you beat drop behind the Orisa barrier. So beat drop goes out, right? And you can actually give it even after it goes out. So you specifically, I would beat drop like right here or right here if you have to do behind the shield. But I would have actually ideally done it up here. But let's say I accidentally beat drop behind an Orisa barrier. Immediately, my immediate response should be either this side or this side, strafe as far as I can. And if you peek around it, you have about close to a second, but treat it like it's less than that, right? Pretend it's like a quarter of a second that you have where you can spread it around. So you get like basically just a moment where it's not just a moment where you beat drop and it's done. It's a moment and then it's sustained for like a little bit of time. So you want to use that sustain to catch people that you miss with that initial moment. So I would beat drop and then I would immediately just go that way as fast as I can. But you kind of just hang out behind the Orisa barrier, and because of that, nobody on your team does get the beat drop. And there, I would definitely call that a wall climbing issue. I would recommend to deal with that. I'm not sure where your jumping is. It looks like your jump is not on the bumpers or the trigger. I would get that off A. You're going to have trouble wall riding if you've got jump on A. I would put that on either left trigger, which is where I had it on console, or on the bumper, which is pretty good as well. Or really anywhere but a face button. You want to be able to press it easily. Anyways. So no big deal. You guys lost your beat drop. You did use your Hanzo ult as well, which means you don't have the Zarya bomb counter. Or maybe you guys use that too. I'm not sure. It'd be nice if you tabbed here. It's another good opportunity in between a fight to... So this is a good play here. Coming in with your Hanzo to help him out. But he died, so maybe you can finish this off. But if she ice blocks, I'd probably just run away. I'd dip. No value in this anymore. And then you're 1v3. Yeah, you're dead. So, you kind of got baited. I think that's kind of a little unlucky because it was not a terrible idea to help the Hanzo out with the 1v1. But, you know, he died anyway. So, after that, it was looking not so great. And you got to be, you know, kind of prepared for those situations to happen where you make a decision, and it's a good decision, right? But the enemy team is trying to make good decisions too. And they make the decision to come out and help their Mei. You got to be prepared for that possibility. So you got to be prepared to basically come up with a new plan on the fly. Like, okay, my Hanzo's dead. I'm out. Gone. Don't need to be here anymore. We're staggered anyway. You guys got rezzed. I think that was not the best res ever because you guys didn't really get anything out of it. It was 5 seconds of respawn time. Nice boop. That's really solid. And that was a momentum thing, right? Where it was all about the timing. It wasn't about the positioning. You were positioned fine, but it wasn't like you got right up on him. So, good job there. Definitely think on point is where you want to be right now. I think you are not so much a frontliner. As long as there are people on point, I would be focusing on the targets that are on point, not focused on this stuff here. This doesn't matter so much. I mean, if it's a Mercy, obviously that kind of trumps it, and target priority is still a thing, but you know, if all other things are equal, I would take a look at what's going on a point, try and kill those targets first, and then afterwards, use your sound wave over here to zone people off the point and finish off the cap. Which you do turn around, and booping that Mei off would be great, but it looks like you missed that opportunity. So, those are awesome picks. Very awesome picks. But one thing about Mail is that it's actually pretty okay for Lucio to be in Mail. You can't spend the whole time in the Mail or else you get frozen, but if you like hop out of it like you did there, we'll go back. You hop out of it, you can hop back in at this point, like once the D.Va bomb goes in. So you got these great picks, which, you know, that was awesome. But now, as soon as you got those picks, I would have probably rushed the Mei and tried to zone the Reaper. But I think he ends up dying anyway. So it's kind of all moot. But just in general, don't be afraid to hop into a Mei ult once it's like halfway through, because you're not going to get frozen. You take a little bit of chip damage, but you could save your Mei or whoever else is in the Mei ult. It looks like the Reaper survived. So right now, I'd be looking to boop that Reaper off. Actually, Baby D.Va probably would have been a great target. Definitely think this might be a lost fight at this point. So I would be shooting people, but you're down 1 now. Kind of even with the D-Mech, but you guys need to be looking for big picks or... Oh, there you go. So that's a decent play, but they had ults for it. So definitely maybe would have been ideal to call for a back out. If you guys had held that Graviton, it would probably make this next push very easy. Instead of like using your ults in the attempt to salvage a probably lost fight, you should instead try and hold those ults. The Reaper might have ulted anyway, even if you hadn't Graviton. He's just been like, man, these people have been on here forever. I'm going to Reaper ult. So imagine if they had Reaper ulted and you hadn't Graviton. You'd still have everything. You'd have everything and they'd have nothing. You'd be winning in ult economy. So definitely try and keep that sort of thing in mind and try and like help your team out with those moments. Another big res, but this one actually had a little bit of value. I think it's a pretty decent one. That beat drop worked out okay. I actually don't think that Mercy should have gotten that. I think that was kind of like a lag thing, but I mean, I'll take it, right? Definitely be aware of those Orisa barriers. It appears that you're not aware of the fact that that can LOS you. It can basically force you to... It'll be like erecting a wall in the middle of the map, right? You need to make sure that you're looking around the wall because you need to get line of sight on people. I think if your Mercy hadn't gotten the beat drop, she would have died right there. So definitely like a lucky moment right there. So you guys Mei ult. That's pretty good. You guys use it to zone people off the map. Or off the point. And you guys got some great picks. So now I'd be on the point and look at who's on point. Find that target. Which you do. Definitely focus the Baby D.Va down. Nice job. So now I'd be looking for their Mercy. I'd be, well, I mean, definitely take what you can get. But now, yeah, see that Mercy? Go for her. Go for her. That's who you want right now. Because she's the one who has the potential to ruin this push for you. It's good heals. But, again, you're kind of looking at these DPS targets while the real mastermind is in the backline. So you guys are still getting some decent picks, but it's kind of looking a little bit lost now here. And this heal, you probably didn't need to amp there. I would have amped and head to your team or not amped at all. Good picks, but again, this is still... Your Zarya has an issue with gravitoning when a fight is kind of not in your favor. You know, it's not a free fight unless you have a full team. If you graviton when there's 6 people on the point, if you just graviton 2 people, graviton the Mercy, graviton the Reaper, graviton the D.Va, just a couple, it's over. You win. You win. But if you don't have the damage to follow it up, you're not going to get anything out of the graviton. You're not going to get what you could. So it's really important to save Graviton in particular for those fights where there is a chance to win it. If you're just using it like to 1v6, you're gonna have a bad time. Alright, but you got 2 ticks here, so that's pretty nice. And now you dip out, and we'll have another opportunity here. It looks like you guys have 1 more fight, not really 2, with 40 seconds remaining. I'd say that's 1 fight. So you guys are still kind of staggering in. I would be calling for a regroup right now. Basically say, hey, let's wait. Let's get 6. We have time for 1 good fight. And you're coming near beat. Definitely a big beat drop would be really valuable right now. And you can probably have Mei ult too soon, but I would be tabbing right now because it's kind of good to know what you're beat dropping for on your team. So Mei ult comes in. Pretty good. And you have the beat drop. That one was pretty decent. You might have missed something behind the Mei wall, but actually you definitely did. You missed the Mercy and the Mei. So definitely be looking for those LOSs if you were in that situation. So let's go back. It was pretty tight, so I don't know that you could have saved him anyway. You actually definitely couldn't save the Mercy because she died beforehand. What you could do, you don't have time here, so this was the right call to just beat drop. You had to do it, or else the soldier would have killed you. But if you had the time, if you go on top of the Mei wall, you can LOS everything. you'll, like, even if there was an Orisa barrier here, you just look right over it, right? So that would have been a non-issue. But you didn't have time, so this was the right call. Good job. Got to 75 now. It's a good Hanzo ult. Again, you got to be looking for the Mercy in these situations. You really do. Because she's the one who's going to keep their team up. And that's the sustain for them. And, I mean, I know the DPS, it's maybe their job to do that. But if you can help them out as Lucio, which apparently you can, you know, silver elims, that's definitely high value play. Super, super high value play. Alright, so now we're on defense, and you're going to play Lucio again. So, I remember, I took a look at this before, I took issue with your pick of Lucio. Alright, maybe you are a one-trick. If you are a one-trick, what you should be doing is asking for somebody else to additionally play support on your team. Because Lucio, Symmetra, it's not good. It's not enough heals for basically anything. This is, like, if I see this comp, I say, oh, let's just get a Junkrat and a Pharah and a whatever and just kill them, right? Because they can't heal. They have nothing. They're gonna die. They're gonna lose. So definitely would probably prefer to play Mercy or Ana in this situation. I would swap, because even if I really love playing Lucio, which I do, sometimes your team needs something different, and you gotta kind of acknowledge that. If your team comp is specifically asking for another hero, you might want to try and play a different one. So, what is Touch Yo Girl gonna play? Soldier. I'm glad that they picked Soldier because the team needed a hit scan. Mei Hanzo is not too great because the enemy team could just get a Pharah and destroy you guys. But this is as good a team comp as you can get with Lucio solo healing with Symmetra. It's not bad. Also, one thing I noticed is your crosshair is white. I prefer a green short crosshair, and also it to be like a little bit smaller. You might want to try that out. It might help you out. Also, another thing I noticed, which I meant to talk about before, is I think your aim is a little slow. That might just be because I haven't been on console in a while, but I think I'm guessing that your sensitivity is not 100. I would crank that up. It's more you become more aware the higher sensitivity is, being able to kind of flick yourself around and do a 180, not literally, but being able to turn quickly makes you more aware, which is more important on Lucio than aiming. And your aim will develop as if you were to raise your sense. You'd figure it out. High sense is just pretty nice with Lucio on console. I had mine on 100 and 100, and I was pretty good. So I think you actually played pretty well in this defense, but because of the fact that you have a Symmetra and your solo healing, I think it ends up really costing you. We'll see if I can find any more teachable moments here, but not sure. Definitely would have made sure to LOS that soldier. You kind of are a little bit passive with how you heal people. You're kind of like focused on yourself, and then if other people are near you, great for them. But if they're not, they can screw them, right? But no, that's not how you should play Lucio. You're going to be most valuable if you heal people as much as you can. So soldier just dying right there, like, you should have been playing Mercy probably, so you could have kept him up, or Ana or something. But you're on Lucio, you're solo healing, you need to be a Wambulance. You need to be on heals vast majority of the time. You need to be making sure to get as many people as you can who need to be healed in your healing aura. I wouldn't be going out for that Mei though. That would be a little bit crazy. So this is a good boop opportunity. You actually miss it just because of timing. I would try and develop that. You had to play a little bit closer because of just how it happened. Your soldier killed himself. That feels bad. Excuse me. Your soldier is back now. So you have a full 6-man. Definitely should not have turned to look, though. That information was useful, but your Ryan is going to die because you weren't healing him. I predict. It looks like this D.Va pushed solo, so he's not, but basically your Ryan should have died. If you just walk away from him like that when you're solo healing Lucio, being here on point right now is bad. You want to be up like with the team because your range is so small. You do have a TP now, which is good. I would definitely dip. Yep, you got to keep yourself alive, but I wouldn't just completely abandon the soldier like you did there, which he might be okay, but I guess this is maybe the more pressing matter, so it's probably the right call. They lost their Mercy. D.Va got your Rhine, though. You do have TP, though, so everything's okay. Everything is okay. As long as that TP stays up, which means I would be in chat asking, hey, where's your TP? How can we protect it? Because otherwise we lose. Should have been up there again. You want to be not peeking. You did not have to look at them to heal your team, but you should probably be like right here when your team is pushed up like that because they really, really, really need this a lot because you're a Lucio solo heal. But you are kind of up now. I think you've kind of got the point. My teaching, it has, my words, they've reached you. Okay. Definitely stay on healing right now. This fight is rough for your team. I would be on heals right now. Beat drop maybe. So it looks like you guys are still gonna lose this fight though. The thing about beat drop is that it kind of isn't the best for male, and you do die, and I think your team dies, and you lose the point here. If you guys had another support, I would definitely recommend using Zenil or even just waiting for Mercy res and then using beat drop afterwards. Because male, like if you all lose your mobility, it kind of doesn't matter how many shields you have, how much shields you have. They're just gonna eat through it all, especially if they have something like a Reaper and the Mei was right there. There's something else too. I guess it was maybe those two, but yeah. Beat drop, not the best choice there, but I mean, it is what you had. Obviously, you had to try and protect the team. I don't know. It was a tough call. I think if you had been healing them up in the first place, maybe they wouldn't have had the opportunity to get that nice male. I guess is my take on it. Your Mei is holding it out, and you have the TP, so you guys might actually win this. But it's not because, oh my gosh, I'm doing so great. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, too late. See, you caught him when he was moving forward, so it didn't work out. But what I was saying is that you're not winning this because, oh my gosh, I'm doing so good on Lucio. You're winning this because your Mei is popping off, your Reinhardt popped off earlier. You need to kind of acknowledge that Lucio is kind of a low impact hero right now with the team you have. You're basically can't do a ton with how little healing you put out and how much your team needs. You're kind of a match versus what could be a wildfire, I guess. Poor analogy, but you get it. Try and get the Mercy kill. That looks like it's no luck. If you could have gotten that, that might have been winnable. But now I think it's probably gone. That boop probably wasn't gonna happen. It was a good attempt, but like you have to get really lucky for those. This might be a big one, but you're frozen and you're dead, and that's gone. At this point, I would just literally be telling my team, okay, we're down 2. TP's got to be out by now. We've used so many. Whoever's here is critical. Whoever's here is critical. Like we're not winning this, right? It's gone. So don't you don't have to say, oh my gosh, we're so bad, we lost the point, but in your mind, start preparing for the point 2 hold. Definitely. Don't do what that Reaper did before, right? On your attack where he pushed up even after you guys capped the point. Definitely avoid that sort of thing, which we'll see how you play it. I think you do end up kind of just acknowledging that it's gone. Here, Ryan is popping off though. What? What? That's crazy. But the inevitable lack of healing. Oh. Amp heals. Nice. Try and get the Mei too. They got the touch though. Those are good shots. Definitely try and get that Zen down, but stay on heals, definitely. Nice. Good picks. Oh. Living on the edge. Speed, and then, yeah. Oh. Definitely swap back to heals once you found cover. I don't know if that would have saved you, but definitely could have helped a little bit. So, I would say that if you were on a big healer, you probably could have won that, basically. A Mercy or an Ana would have made a world of difference on that point in a couple different situations. But you did what you could on Lucio. I would definitely be now taking a look at this point too. You know, you have a kind of quickly tabbed. We'll use that, but I would have spent a little more time there just checking out. All right. So this comp once again demands some serious healing. You do have this, which is, you know, self-heal. This, self-heal, and a little bit of additional healing. This needs healing. This needs healing. This needs healing. A ton of healing for this guy. Really a fair amount for this guy. And Torb definitely needs some love too. So, not a great team comp to be Lucio. Not a great team comp against which Lucio is amazing. You know, McCree Flashbang really can shut Lucio down. Reaper is just it's utter destruction if he gets close, and then Mei can freeze you as well. So against this comp that you're playing against, I definitely would recommend a Mercy or an Ana, and I would be asking your team for a secondary healer, especially one of the people in your 2 secondary. Not the Ryan, obviously, you need that tank, but the Hanzo could probably swap in this situation with these other 3 DPS you have. Get out. Get out. No. Don't use ults. Just get out. Run away. We lost the stream there for a couple seconds, but I think it cuts out a few more times, guys. So excuse me on that one. Or excuse Blockhead, I guess. But you did try to speed people out, and they did not dip. That's a communications issue. You should talk to them. Tell them, this is not going to happen right here with our Reinhardt out and spawn there. That's not going to happen. This is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. You're not going to successfully 1v6. It will not work. Not going to successfully 3v6. It will not work. You need to be on the point. As soon as that second point or that first point was gone, as soon as you really knew that there was no chance, you got to stay away from it. Don't go anywhere near it. Otherwise, it creates steamroll opportunities like what's happening here. You did boop that Zen, which was really nice. It was a good job there. Booping, ulting Zens is like a really high value play because Zen ult is a small range thing. It's not like Lucio's ult where it can LOS over long distances. So getting him away from his team or off the map or something like that, it's basically the only possible way you can deal with a Zen ult besides, like, I don't know. There are other ways, but basically one of the best ways to deal with a Zen ult is boop him so that way he's ineffective. So nice job there. You have another Mei ult on you here. Let's see how you react. I think beat drop makes some sense, but you're not going to get a ton of value out of it because you know the Mei is still alive. You did just lose your Reinhardt. You did just lose your Soldier and your Hanzo. So if you could afford to wait, it might be nice to hold that, but I think we'll see what happens here. That was not okay. It didn't use it, but that would have been a terrible beat drop off the edge onto this low ground here. You would have LOS'd your whole team. You would have not beat dropped anybody anyway, except you would have survived over here as the Mei shot at you. And yeah, LOS your team when you beat drop. It's important. They need it more than you do. They really do. They need beat drop. It actually could have been a good one if you just had done it on point. But actually, I also think that, okay, so there's 2 facets of why that didn't work. Your beat drop didn't go out because you beat dropped off the high ground onto low ground. Because you spent this extra quarter of a second in the air, you froze like right here, right? Just before you hit the ground, so your beat drop didn't go out. So if you had beat dropped onto the mid ground, I'm confident Not super confident, but I'm fairly confident you would have gotten that beat drop out, and these guys would all be set for life. They'd be good to go. So that's one facet. The other facet is that you cannot sit here in this low ground and beat drop anybody. You're never gonna hit anybody with this. You need to be able to see them, and if you put a wall between you and them, it will not go well for you. Continuing. This is a nice shatter. I think that's gonna stall their push pretty well, but it's really not because of your beat. And beat could have been a big factor there. It could have saved your team having to use shatter. So definitely try and work on that. High noon, definitely taking this position is nice, especially if you can hear it. Getting away from that is good, but I don't think there's much you could have done. You could have tried to beat drop, but it kind of would have been a misplay. I think you made the right call holding it. And going to help the Bastion here is obviously a good choice as well. We'll see if you can manage to protect him from the Reaper. He wraithed. Go on heals, heals. Good job, but you needed to heal the Bastion up earlier. You need to think, like, in a given moment, like, let's go back. So, right now you need speed because you need to get to the Bastion and kind of get up to this Reaper. Get where you need to be, right? As soon as you are where you need to be, you need to think, like, what am I getting out of speed? If you're not getting anything out of speed, which Bastion is definitely not because he's literally stationary, and you're up in a Reaper's face. You don't really want to be here, but you're not about to speed boost away because you just came to try and help the Bastion. So definitely, as soon as you're within aura range of the Bastion, I probably would have swapped to heals, and he would be solid. He'd have a little more health. Which, you got a nice boop here. Great job on that, but you probably both would have died if you had missed somehow, or if you'd booped him into a wall a bit. It was basically lucky. So, I would go help your soldier. That seems like a good idea. Help him win the... Oh, maybe not. So now. I see that they had 2 and you had 2. I wouldn't take that 2v2 May and Reaper. I don't like that. So it looks like you don't either because you dipped right out as well. That's a good call. Definitely be on heals here though. I don't know if you needed to amp though. Saving that amp for later might have been a better call. So now I try and get up for your Bastion. Go help him out. Everybody else is full health, and you're not really doing a ton on point. And it looks like we just had another glitch there. During that glitch, I don't think a ton happened, though I don't see your Bastion up there anymore. I'm not sure where he went. They have a Widow now. Should continue pressing tab, guys. Or, not tab, it's select for you. But continue pressing select. It's important to know when the enemy team comp changes. Try and do that on a regular basis. And try not to peek the Widow if you can avoid it. It looks like you killed her. Nice job, but you should be careful with her. As you get higher and higher, those Widows are going to be a lot more dangerous. You did not heal that Reinhardt. There's a Mei wall between you and him. He did not get your beat drop, and now he is dead. You need to be conscious of that. You need to be making an effort to get yourself in a position where you LOS as many people as possible. Right now, your line of sight is literally only the point. If you had gone to the center of point and you had beat dropped there, you could have LOS the Reinhardt through the wall just by happenstance. Like, the wall was kind of unlucky. You could have also LOS people on the top of this ledge above you here, right? You can't see these people. They behind you and up. They don't know what's happening because they're not getting beat dropped. You could see them though if you had LOS. Think of it like a triangle, right? I don't know what the angle is, but you probably need to be like middle of point. You would have been able to hit everybody with beat drop. Everybody would be able to see you. These are terrible drawings, but here's what we're gonna do. This is an eye. This is your eye level. Well, maybe more like this is your eye level, but whatever. And then you want to eye level the Reinhardt. You also want to eye level all the people behind you, so you get this all big space. But you also get the people out here in front, which there aren't any, or over here on this right side, or wherever. There's value in getting yourself in a position where you can see as many people as possible. Because while you were okay, you just lost your main tank, your only tank, because you did not LOS him. and it looks like a great visor and Torbjorn turret will keep you guys alive, but you gotta make sure to get as much value as you can out of your beat drop. You probably could have avoided using Torbolt or using visor if you had protected your Reinhardt with an effective beat drop. If anybody on your team had gotten beat drop other than you, they might have been able to hold those ults, which might come back to help you out as the timer ticks down. Having no ults, you did just use visor and Torbolt and Lucio ult. Using all three of those ults at 1 minute and 30 seconds, it means that this next push they might have an easy time. What a pro. And I would probably be chilling up on the high ground if I were you. You're kind of hanging out on this low ground the whole time, right? Which, it's important to be on point sometimes, but if you guys were all up there, you might be better off with your Bastion. You kind of want to play around a Bastion when you have one, and you guys are kind of, you're Ryan and you're kind of on the point when he's up there, which he kind of forces people to play near him. Good Hanzo. Take, well, yeah. That's pretty good. So now, go up there. Help him out. Not really doing anything here, and your team is in a fight. And there goes one. Your soldier died because he didn't get any healing. You're not in danger of that anyway, so I wouldn't have worried about it. And you're kind of swapping. That was a nice kill, though, so I can justify that swap. But in general, I'd try and spend like 80 to 90% of your time on heals right here. And swap for like those tenths of a second where you really need to get in there. Nice job. Looks like you guys might have it. And okay, so we had another cut there. And it looks like in that time, all that happened is that you guys continue to stagger. So, good job. You're on healing. You see the Junkrat over there. I would be calling for a push. 10 seconds remaining. Everybody's on the point. Just say, hey, Junkrat by himself on right. Dip. Let's get him. Kill him real quick. And then at 0 seconds remaining, it would only be the D.Va going for touch. You guys just lost your Bastion there. So that pick would have really helped you out. So I saw a Reinhardt who's critical 5 seconds ago, right? And you're kind of... As soon as I see that Ryan critical, I would use speed and get over there, like wall jump over to the left, and then heal him. And he's dead now. Too late. Definitely want to be on heals right now. Your team is dying. And you'd be getting more ult charge, which would be big. And you did just die because you did not get a beat drop in time because you were not healing your team. And you guys lost. So, I would definitely say, while you did a great job of DPSing, getting some great elims, and you did get gold healing, I would have recommended playing a Mercy or an Ana, just so that way your team got the heals that they needed. I would recommend playing with your Bastion, playing with your DPS, playing with anybody but your Reinhardt by himself on point when they're in a fight. You want to be with them, help them out. You need to be working on LOSing people when you beat drop. Super duper important. That is a great way to rise out of plat, is getting really solid beat drops. So there's plenty of good stuff that I saw today, and it's not like you should feel super down about what you're doing wrong. You're doing okay. But there is room for improvement, which is a good thing. It means that if you work on your beat drops, I could foresee you rising quite a lot of SR. If you work on communicating, maybe focus on your team comp and learn to flex a little bit, you might win some games that normally were an L, right? This team that you played against was pretty decent, but your Mei, who ended up swapping to Bastion, was really solid on point one. You guys probably would have had that if you had like just a little bit more going. You know, maybe if instead of the Hanzo you had a second healer, or if instead of the Symmetra did work too, instead of the soldier, if you'd had a second healer. Either of those would have made a huge difference because they didn't have a Pharah. Soldier would have been unnecessary. So definitely think about flexing a little more. Focus on those beat drops, like I said. There's some minute adjustments with stuff like booping, making sure that you're focusing on the timing. You got to hit it right when you want it, not right where you want it. It's okay to miss a boop. I mean, it sucks, but it happens, right? Whereas it's a lot more of a pain when you hit the boop, but they don't move at all because you didn't time it perfectly. What else? I think that was the major stuff. Definitely keep positive. I don't think you were in chat for this game, or maybe the audio was not recorded. Either of those are possible. definitely I would recommend being in team chat. Don't just communicate with your little party. It's super important that everyone on your team is communicating. You need to create happy faces. Everyone needs to know what's up. You need to be coordinating, keeping a positive attitude. That sort of thing is going to help you rise not just out of plat, but out of diamond, out of masters, out of grandmasters into top 500. Like, it is so useful to have a positive attitude. It's kind of a pain sometimes because people are bad at Overwatch and it gets frustrating, but it will get you SR. You win games that you shouldn't win by having a good attitude. We can see what happens for play of the game. I bet it's like your May or your Visor that happened earlier. Oh, it's the Reaper. And I think it maybe during the Mail. That was a pretty nice one. Yep. So you do get the beat drop out, but you guys just die anyway because Reaper does absurd damage up close. And that really sunk you. So definitely, I don't really know how you could have dealt with the situation better other than like having a second healer or you playing a larger healer so that way maybe the May couldn't have got there in the first place to get that nice ult. Good game. Have a good one. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys found it helpful. I've got another VOD review coming up soon, so that should be fun. I think this next one is going to be cool. It's from Scrim, so I'm excited. And let me know if you guys have any additional questions on this. I might do like a proper guide for beat drop because that issue I've seen with people kind of not LOSing people is very prevalent at like lower elos, really anything below masters. I see it happen like all the time, and it's something that really frustrates me because a lot of people have really great beat drop timing, but they're not focused on getting all their teammates in it, so good beat drops go to waste, you know? All right. Thanks again. Hope everyone has a good day.